So a black woman was murdered last week and nobody has said anything about it. Have y'all heard about it? Hey y'all, it's your friendly neighborhood therapist. And it would seem that this hasn't even been in the news. Maybe local news where it happened, but that's it. But the reason why I'm wondering why I haven't seen anything about it is because this wasn't just some random occurrence. It wasn't domestic violence. It wasn't any of that. In fact, this woman was a distinguished academic and held a distinguished position at a college, and this unaliving happened in broad daylight. Dr. Cameisha Denise Clark, a 35-year-old academic, dean of student affairs, and community advocate, was murdered in broad daylight by Jesse Figueroa, a 40-year-old security guard at Spartan College of Aeronautics and Technology in Inglewood, California. Now, before I get into him, because he is irrelevant, her this woman has a resume that is amazing. She attained a bachelor's in psychology, a master's in social work, and a doctorate in higher education leadership, all from Clark Atlanta University. She is a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a former cheerleader, a nonprofit founder, and most recently, she was promoted to the Dean of Student Affairs at Spartan College. And she was unalived by gunfire in broad daylight. And to make matters even worse, another woman was also injured in this same incident. Why hasn't this been all over the news? It would lead one to believe that nobody cares about black women. I mean, we already feel this way about this country. Nobody listens to us. Nobody cares what we have to say, even though half the time, and more than half, we're always correct. It's amazing to me that nobody has talked about this. And I mean, I have not seen it on my TikTok timeline, anything, and still didn't actually see it on the news. I found out about this because a friend of mine on Facebook posted it. And here's what's really interesting. This man who unalived her, Jesse Figueroa, I'm not understanding how he was a security guard because this man pled guilty to robbery in 2007. He was also arrested on suspicion of assault with a deadly weapon and making criminal threats, charges that were later dropped in a plea deal. So a violent felon was able to get a job as a security guard. Now, granted, he was hired by a third party firm contracted by the school, but in my mind, both that firm and the school are at fault because where was the background check? How did he get this job? Do security guards carry weapons? Because how did a violent felon carry a weapon? It's funny to me how he was able to get a job as a security guard. There are people with misdemeanor marijuana charges who can't get a job at Wendy's, especially depending on, I ain't gonna go there because y'all always say that I'm race baiting, whatever. Anyway, this makes no sense because on a college campus, or any other school for that matter, background checks are required. So no one can say that they didn't know this man's criminal, violent background. Yet and still, he got the job as a security guard. Make that make sense. And I really, I know y'all tend to think that some of us black folks and people of color get on here and race bait a lot, but come on now. If this was a blonde haired, blue eyed white woman that was unalived in broad daylight, do you think it would have gone silent like this and you wouldn't have heard about it by now? On any note, he will appear in court on May 29th and faces a maximum sentence of life in state prison if convicted as charged. His charges are murder, attempted murder, and several counts for possessing a firearm as a felon. He also faces gun sentencing enhancements, which can lead to additional penalties when a gun is used during a crime. As of right now, his public defender has not responded to a request for comment, and the Inglewood mayor, James Butt, said last week that it appeared to be an incident of workplace violence, but charging documents did not lay out a possible motive. So, yeah, again, a black woman was murdered last week, and nobody's talking about it, and it likely would have been quite different if she was a different complexion. And we're not going to pretend that that's far fetched. So, rest in peace to Dr. Cameisha Denise Clark. A mother lost her daughter, and we just celebrated Mother's Day. It is a sad shame that no news outlets, major news outlets, are talking about this. Broad daylight, college campus, dean of student affairs, very intelligent, hardworking, community based black woman, and not a word. Y'all have a beautiful, wonderful rest of y'all day, and I will holler at y'all later.